Okay, although technology has the power to enhance our lives, it can also erode a sense of togetherness and can potentially hinder a child's emotional and social development. Recently, Jessica spoke with an expert on this very topic.
He's the New York Times best-selling author of The Five Love Languages. You're certainly very familiar with that. Dr. Gary Chapman joins us here on Virginia this morning for a conversation about growing up social, raising relational kids in a screen-driven world. Dr. Chapman, it's great to see you.
Well, thank you, Jessica. It's good to be with you.
We're delighted to talk with you today. Very excited to have you on your way to Richmond in just a couple of weeks for an important conversation presented by the Relationship Foundation of Virginia. This is a topic all of us are facing these days with kids, or if you're guardians or teachers, really any adult interacting with young kids wants to put this on their radar.
Well, I think so. This is not an anti-technology book, but it is a book that tries to help parents have guidelines on how to make the most of technology and use technology and not let technology control you or control your children. So it's a fine line to walk there, but we're glad for technology. We wouldn't be having this interview without technology.
This is true. And, I am just bedazzled by what young people know today and are capable of doing today with the technology that is available. So you're right. It's not a conversation about avoiding or going away or being anti-technology. It's a way of maybe interacting and doing it safely. I think, is it safe to say that we've passed the days of the Wild West? We are starting to create some definitions, but it seems to be always changing. How do you advise handling that?
Well, I think it's true. I think we have to think in terms of what is best for my child. And remember, we are the parents. Children do not tell parents what to do. Parents set the guidelines. Now, parents need to listen to children, especially as they get older, and know what they're thinking and what they're feeling and what they desire. But ultimately, we have to make the decision. And I think children thrive when we have rhythm in the family. By which I mean, there's a time for reading books. There's a time for doing our homework. There's a time for playing a video game. There's a time for watching television, and when the child has those time limits on them, they thrive with that. But if a parent simply uses the screen as a babysitter, that child is not going to grow up to be a social character, and we're talking in the lecture and in the book, we're talking about, how do you build social relationships and teach the children to relate to people socially when we are living in a world when it seems many times our free time is just go right to a screen. And sometimes I say to parents, if you let your teenage daughter or son play video games with all of their free time, that's all they do. They'll be doing that at 25 when they're married, and it will not fare well. So, it's a matter of learning how to have balance in life, and that includes screens.
And Dr. Chapman, it's incredibly interesting because this conversation and the presentation that you'll do for Relationship Foundation of Virginia here in Richmond would be a whole different conversation, or was a different conversation 4 months ago than it is today. Now we fast forward to this present situation, and so many of us are working from home. We're trying to maintain jobs, and you find yourself on an even tighter rope, if that's possible, in terms of all of that balance. What are you hearing these days about creating that kind of balance? Still the same conversation?
I think it's the same principle. Obviously, when school shut down and the kids came home and the parents were with the children all day long, trying to help them navigate, with the teacher online, that required much more time. And obviously the child was online much more of the day when they were doing that. But that's a positive thing. They were getting an education. Certainly, I don't think as well as it would have been in the classroom, but at least they were getting an education. So, I think we have to adjust greatly and have had to adjust greatly over the past several weeks in terms of the parent-child relationship. But I do think the principle of continuing to have rhythms for a child is extremely important. So yes, we're doing our schoolwork online, and then we're going to have some time we can play a game together, maybe in the yard. I really encourage you, if you have a yard, get out in the yard with the children, not in the house all day long. And I think every parent wants the best for their child, and every parent wants to help them build social skills. And that's what we're focusing on, is how do you build social skills? Because you don't build them when you're looking at a screen. You're just listening, or maybe you're playing a game, but you're not building social skills. So we've got to help our children learn how to relate to people in a positive and constructive manner.
Well, we are looking forward very much to having you here in Richmond and this presentation for the Relationship Foundation of Virginia, Growing Up Social, Raising Relational Kids in a Screen-Driven World. This is a great start, but I'm looking forward to more to come. Thank you so much for making time.
Well, thank you, Jessica. I enjoyed chatting with you.
I've really enjoyed chatting with you as well. And we'll be sure to include a link on our website, WTVR.com/VTM, so that you can secure one of those tickets. There are only 50 live in-person tickets available for the Relationship Foundations of Virginia's presentation. That's coming up on July 21st at 9:30 a.m., but certainly plenty of virtual tickets available. We'll have a link so that you can learn more.
The Relationship Foundation of Virginia is hosting 2 events. The 5 Languages of Apology featuring Nicole Eunice. That's happening on July 20th at 7:30 p.m. And you can find more information at apologyva.org. Raising Relational Kids in a Screen-Driven World featuring Dr. Gary Chapman is July 21st at U-Turn, located at 2101 Maywill Street in Richmond. The event starts at 9:30 a.m. Jessica Knoll, our own, will serve as the MC. As she mentioned, 50 live tickets are available for $40, and tickets for the virtual stream are $25. Get a signed copy of Growing Up Social for $20. Socialva.org is where you can find all the details. But in the meantime, stay tuned. We'll be right back.